as you all head towards the center location of these orbs, you see that the light actually extends almost till directly above the center of the plaza, as you see this kind of thick wall of shadowy mist in every other direction.
So when
You
we
do.
re-enter there shadow, is there anything different to like the center orb or like the surrounding area other than the area that we cleansed?
Thank you. That's a great question. Yeah, the giant orb has become much larger, and you can see holes starting to crack through it, and it looks like it's beginning to uncoil. This mass seems to be slowly uncoiling, but there's definitely like it was once a solid surface as you all inspected it previously, and now there's definitely like holes showing inner parts just a little bit cracked through.
Did we ever do like a kind of detect what's inside this orb? Because I know we found like there's like something like a creature inside of it.
We did, yes. It is a creature of an aberrant nature directly opposed to Sherrilyn's own sort of holy, I don't know.
The Watcher?
Yes, that one. So my guess is, based on sort of how this looks, oh, maybe a big eel? Perhaps a big eel.
That tracks. That tracks for the desert, yeah.
Guessing not a friendly thing.
Mr. Ardavian is thinking with his stomach.
Nope. Eels are friends, not always food.
No, they're pretty good food.
They're good food also, but they can be quite friendly.
Well, whether you guys plan on eating this one or not, we should continue on.
I hadn't thought of it.
Please don't eat the eel. It'll be hard enough to get Sherrilyn's vision back. I don't want to deal with whatever happens to you after you eat this cursed eel.
Please don't eat the hate eel.
Harkin tries moving forward and kind of runs into the back of Grizzly gently to urge it forward. Please continue on. It's very bright.
No, let us go forward and then east.
Yeah, we're heading in the direction of the news, so east now.
Heck yeah. You all continue forward. There are, as you head down this path, this road itself is pretty well worn, and you see what looks to be the ruins of a settlement or some sort of structure that was built here around this oasis. It looks very simple in its designs, and it all looks ruined and aged as you pass through it. But it looks like a neighborhood, a consolidation of these different adobe thatched huts that kind of come into view, this coalition of housing as you all kind of walk through them on this curved road headed eastward. They're all kind of packed together.
Do they look old, these buildings?
Yeah, definitely. Weathered for sure.
These look sort of familiar, actually, now that I can see. Houses in my country look somewhat similar.
Is there any way that I can determine whether the age and wear is because of the desecration of this place, or does it look like historically of a different age and period?
Go ahead and roll me a history check. You all hear a door slam 50, 60 feet away somewhere.
Why would we hear that?
Ahead of us, behind us, like, do we have a general direction of where it came from?
As Plato's kind of inspecting this building, it's kind of due north from his position among these different cottages. Not along the road that you're headed.
How far did you say?
About 60 feet, 50 feet. Probably, best guess.
Divine sense?
Only an 11 for my history check.
Yeah, even with an 11, it definitely looks like there's like dust and structural tear. The structures that are still here were maintained and created very well. As you look them over with an 11, there definitely used to be a lot more that are gone now. And you think it was probably more an ancient settlement than it was destroyed by this curse or desecration. That being said, the divine sense does pick up a whole bunch of desecration, as this land is deeply desecrated. And you get a few pings of undeads within this settlement, within these different huts.
I do grow tired of these aberrant creatures.
Well, I suppose I will keep an eldritch blast at Zaretti inside of my water arm for if anything comes out to attack us.
Sherrilyn sees Plato preparing, and she turns over her shoulder to him and says, "Shall I point them out?"
No, perhaps they are just gentle, milling undead. I don't know. This is not my area of expertise. Ask Francis.
What would give you that impression?
The irony of the blind person asking if she should point out the enemy.
It
Yes.
is dark now. I can see fairly well.
You all hear a fist begin to slam on the other side of one of these doors, 30 feet away or so,
Yes, that one.
as Sherrilyn points it out.
Well, I think we can safely assume that everything that is still in this area is not exactly going to be friendly.
Yeah, in response to that, Inara wields her dagger of venom and activates it so that the thick black poison coats the blade.
But yeah, you continually hear this slamming door.
I mean, I don't think that we have stopped. I don't really want to wait for it to break the door down, or do we need to clear them out so that we can continue? Does anyone see a big E or any orbs?
None come to view as you all continue forward.
Damn.
Horseback kind of riding a little bit faster than the sounds behind you as you continue, as this path gives way to sand. And you see what looks to be a small beach kind of in between these two larger paths formed. There is this large pool of moving water against this cliffside that seems to drift back and forth very gently as these like small waves kind of crash against the sand. Coming into view in front of that beach is a small gazebo, in front of which is a few things, namely these 3 glimmering standing stones.
As they pass through this neighborhood, Sherrilyn is pointing at each door, which she knows there's a creature behind. And that one? That one? No, we're not taking the shot? That one?
No, like I said, I am holding until they attack us. It seems like maybe they're just dead and in the houses. It's a zombie village. No need to upset them.
There are these 3 crystalline standing stones that each glimmer with different colors. The 3 of them are all triangular and pointed together against the side of this gazebo, one glowing red, one glowing yellow, and one glowing blue. In addition, right in front of these standing stones, we see corpses of dragonborn nomads, 4 of them specifically, that seem to be kind of laid against the standing stone. At first, you see them kind of like cushioned against each other, and as you approach and kind of get a different angle on it, you realize that their bodies have been stacked with 1 long ways and 3 against it to form the letter E.
Well, I believe we have found our mark.
I mean, have we? Are we sure this is not a false E?
If it is a red herring, then someone has gone great lengths to...
Well, yes, but they would, wouldn't they? After all, it was the Dragonborns that left the marks, who would then use... Oh, well, unless they died in that pose on purpose. Quite dark.
They knew they were dying. Maybe this was their way of leaving a message. She looks towards them with sadness and pity.
Is there any way to roll insight to find out if that's what happened? I feel bad for now putting the idea forward.
I love it. Yeah, go ahead and roll insight.
Try to interpret their dying position.
I guess I'll give the help action by trying to look around, especially with her cat vision, to see if there's like tracks or anything of someone moving away from the bodies. Because if someone laid them that way, they would have had to leave at some point.
Yeah, it's a 16.
16. Inara, go ahead and roll me an investigation check as well. We'll kind of combine your 2 rolls here. I will also say, Plato, as you kind of look it over, you do see they're kind of notched in different parts of these standing stones, but there do seem to be built into the stones like a spot for digits, 4 digits specifically, to be able to be placed in with a palm symbol. Like engraved into the stone is the ability to like place a 4-digit hand.
A 13 for Inara.
As you look around, and the wind seems pretty steady here in between these 2 mountainous points, and all of this is built on sand, you don't see any tracks. With that, and with Plato's roll, I'll say looks like they were arranged. And as you think through the other orbs, both being labeled as well, you think that these bodies being arranged like this was somebody's solution to being unable to mark the sand.
So it was probably done by one of the other Dragonborn compatriots who had no other option. Perhaps the one we saw at the entry to the oasis. All right, well, now it has something to do with these standing stones. Any ideas, Inara? Seems like they have this form of action here, some sort of interactive panel. I will not touch it.
Yes, let's not touch anything until we're sure it's safe. She'll approach the standing stones, and I guess she'll study them, see if she can see any hints or marks or anything other than the indentation for the four-fingered palm. Do you want me to roll investigation again?
No, we'll carry your passive through and your roll there. They seem to be gleaming and vibrating with some sort of magic. Definitely some sort of like device or creation that does have a magical purpose, and you think, to Plato's point, it could be activated by placing your hand within the structure.
And you said it was 3 different colors. What were they? Blue?
They were blue, yellow, red, with blue being the leftmost when you're looking at the gazebo. Blue, yellow, and then red.
There is some irony to Inara telling the rest of us not to touch anything.
I know, right? I'm learning. But also, this place gives me the creeps, and the sight of all these dragonborn sacrificing themselves in the hopes that the next passerby can do something about this is definitely sobering, even for someone as me. But in response to Plato's question, Inara studying the area, she goes, I'm not sure. It definitely looks like placing your hand in there will activate it, but I cannot glean any more hints. And I'm worried that the only way we can is by activating it, she says with a grimace.
I'm sorry, are these different somehow? I'm seeing shades of gray.
Oh yeah, Inara points towards the leftmost one and goes, that one's blue, the middle one's yellow, and the one on the right is red.
I'll take your word for it.
I know my colors.
Yes, I believe you, my lady, but I, inhibited as I am, cannot tell the difference. This must be what dogs think the world looks like.
Well, the other orbs were purple. You could sort of make purple out of 2 of these, but I don't know what that has to do with anything.
Mr. Ardavian is an artist. Should have
Yes.
gleaned that from the finger painting.
We appreciate art in Perian. I don't know exactly what you mean by it, but I have done some basic color theory.
Right, so you have 3 different structures in 3 different colors.
Mhm. And they're giving off a magical energy. Is there anything else in the immediate areas that also has this energy signal or signature?
Or color.
As you look around, you see the gazebo that all the standing stones are like against have this central white marble flooring, and as you kind of like look around at it, it does look like the triangular nature of the standing stones are all kind of pointing down towards the gazebo. So you think they're probably, for some reason or some way interact.
They are sort of maybe a control panel or something to make manifest something in the gazebo.
Like another orb?
My guess is yes, this is going to be mostly orb-based.
If we do not see the orb, perhaps we have to bring the orb to us?
Yes, I think we are all just sort of playing a game of chicken. Who wants to touch the standing stones? No, not you, Inara?
Inara is vehemently shaking her head like, I don't want to go blind, I don't want to go blind. I'm willing to experience most things, but not this.
Shall I touch one of these structures?
I mean, logically, it makes sense for someone who's already been cursed to take the risk, but I don't know if the curse can somehow double its effects on you. So
Yes,
that would have to
doubly
be
cursed.
your decision.
Doubly cursed, yes, that sounds unpleasant. But I'm willing to take this risk on your behalf. One second. You said that there were holes, indentations.
Yes,
Yes.
there's a place to sort of set your palm and 4 fingers, just not your thumb.
Have we checked the hands of the dead individuals?
That we have not. And Inara will jump off Harka to get closer to the bodies, keeping an eye on the gazebo and the stones resting upon it to see if there's any reaction to her as she approaches and gets closer. But if nothing does happen, then once she is at the E cluster of bodies, she's going to check their hands. Does she see anything?
Yeah, roll me a medicine check. One thing that's immediately evident to you is that these dragonborn hands only have 4 digits.
A 15 on the medicine check.
Their hands look fine, except for the other injuries they sustain that sometimes spread to their hands. It looks like a few of these were burned to death, specifically, were killed via fire, and some of them were killed via, it looks like, different parts of their body being dissolved, probably some sort of acid or poison.
They got gooped.
Noticing that the dragonborn do have just 4 digits, Inara will look back up. She'll describe their injuries to the party and goes, it definitely seems like they were burned or scorched by acid. And then she'll look to Plato. Some of them look very reminiscent of the jackal goop that you created. Maybe you can approach and discern that better since that is your field. But it does occur to me that while we should definitely be respectful of these bodies and the sacrifices they created, we could use one of their unharmed hands and place that upon the stone.
All right. Sherrilyn hops off the horse, goes over.
We'll also say their eyes, as you inspect them, a couple of their eyes are still open. Dark black. All
So
the way
definitely,
through.
they were all cursed. That's clearly evident, but not surprising.
Great. Sherrilyn hooks her arms under the shoulders of one of the ones that has black eyes, although everything, again, grayscale, so darkened eyes. She'll start dragging it towards where the indentation in the stone is. Where will I be placing his hand?
The bodies are placed right up against the standing stone. You can literally just reach his arm into one of the holes.
Do each of the stones have these holes or just one of them?
They do. They're at different locations. One is at the bottom left, one is kind of in the center middle, and one is on the right. They're all lower on the standing stone. They're not like at the top or anything like that. They would be accessible even for a short individual.
They need to be touched in a specific order.
Yes, and not to bring up the color theory thing again, but red is related to fire. I've been thinking what color acid is related to. Yellow and blue both seem appropriate. But I will also say that some of us, well, at least one of us has flame resistance, and one of us has acid resistance, so we do find ourselves in perhaps a favorable sort of karmic position over whatever this fucking thing is.
Which one is red?
Inara will point to the rightmost one. Right there.
She just drops the corpse that she had been manhandling and walks over to that one.
Just gonna get some distance from me. I'm just gonna move Grizzly just back a little bit from just the
how far back?
Oh, so interesting. Maybe like 60 feet back,
Okay,
and then
60 feet.
I'll tie him to something about 62 feet away.
Could you handle Harkin as well?
Yep, he doesn't like it when
Inara will lead Harkin towards Plato.
Inara and Plato just take a little 60-foot walk, and they tie their horses to something reliable, and then they see what's happening with Sherrilyn.
Yeah, no, Francis is gonna like stay in the middle, like between Plato and Inara, hook up the horses, and Sherrilyn going to the machine, and he's gonna like constantly be looking around to see like if there's like still movement, there's still sounds happening around them.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Whatever happens to you now, Sir Thon, is no fault of mine.
Do not worry, I am here on my own volition. That's nat 20.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. As you take a clear view in and kind of look around, there's this kind of deep sense of community and peace that echoes through you for a second or two. Like the beach that you're standing on echoes with this resonance of community that kind of like you feel deep beneath the sand for just a second or two. Celebration and love. And then it kind of snaps back for a second. And that residual feeling kind of like courses just a little bit. And you look around for movement and you don't see any of the creeping shadows from the other parts of the oasis making their way here. You don't see this darkness kind of able to extend this far to this part of the oasis. As whatever resonant emotion is here is keeping the actual physical monsters mostly at bay. You find yourself pretty at peace comparatively.
Okay, and would that comparative peace like feel like it extends to where Plato and Inara have wandered off to?
Yeah, they're still within this neighborhood on this beachfront. This beachfront's a little bit wider, like pretty large. So the gazebo's right at the end of it. There's more than enough space for them to feel pretty safe within this quadrant of the oasis.
Whatever it is that is here is surely different and seemingly safer than the rest of this place. I cannot explain it, but I feel as though we are in less danger here than elsewhere.
1 second, Inara. Francis is talking to himself in the middle of the desert. Just 1 moment. And I go up to Francis.
I'm only 30 feet away from you.
Yeah, sorry, it was just the wind. As you were saying, safer here?
Yeah, for some reason, it just feels like this place is not as hostile.
hostile. So they had what control? Oh, interesting.
Sherrilyn's just holding up this giant limp body in front of her, like one hand on the wrist of this thing and the other around midsection. Are we making a decision? How long must I hold this thing?
I'm not
person.
sure. Perhaps you should try it.
All right. Is everyone a comfortable distance away now?
Take a big step back so I'm outside of the 30-foot radius.
Sherrilyn rolls her eyes.
We're good.
All right. She's using this corpse as like a shield in case something comes off of this rock back at her. And she will then reach around and holding up this thing's arm, kind of shove the limp hand against the indentation on the apparently red stone.
You hear the soft clicking of the talons hitting against the rock. Nothing happens.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
As the lifeless digits kind of make their way back into the hold.
The body in her arms limps a little. It's all right. Looks like nothing is happening.
All right, stick your hand in it now, Zan.
I would prefer not to.
It might only react to living beings. Inara calls out from 62 safe feet away.
Well, if that was the case, only one of us here has already lost their arm. So therefore, Mr. Ardavian, would you do the honors?
Bad idea. You want to just shove an extremely powerful magical focus into sort of what, a curse hole? No, thank you.
It's a water hand.
Yeah, it's... I don't know, not to sort of school you on the composition of the thing, but the ether that it surrounds could be highly volatile if not kept under control. I'm just not comfortable with it.
Either. We've seen, it's not just the water hand. We've seen what he can do with that hand.
I do have a theory.
What's that?
Please share it.
Well, if the people here had some sort of control or management of their orb system, then we have systems in the sluice sometimes where you need 2 keys activated at the same time or 3 keys activated at the same time to unlock special areas where things of great danger are kept. Maybe it is a system such as this, but honestly, I think we need a little more information. So like I said, Sherrilyn, just put your hand right in the hole.
Yes, nobody's comfortable putting Mr. Ardavian's water hand in there, but they want to put my flesh hand inside there and risk me losing mine. I've already lost my eyes. Are you guys not satisfied with that?
All the Dragonborns have the hands. I think it'll be a fine hand situation.
Since we're dealing with the redstone, would you like a potion of fire resistance to boost your confidence?
She's got the rose. She's fine.
True that. Go, girl, you got this.
Steep inhale through her nose, rolls her neck all the way around, and just slaps her hand against this indentation.
As you do, the stone begins to vibrate and glow as it projects this brilliant red light that you can see clearly as red into the gazebo, and the entire gazebo area fills with this beautiful red light. You can kind of tell as you move your 4 digits around, the light kind of manipulates to your finger touch, both in intensity and like as you kind of move and experiment a little bit in shape. You think if you knew what you're doing, you could probably manipulate the totality of the light or the shape of the light a little bit. But the whole area fills with this red light.
Look at that. It is red. She tries to do like a sock puppet motion with the light.
The light kind of moves to it, just a little bit.
Oh, no.
Well, nothing exploded, and I still have my hand.
Ooh, that looks like fun. Can I do the next one?
I suppose so, though they may have to take place in an order. I like the idea that they might create purple. I say try and do the blue one, but who knows?
Oh, go on. Let's use Mr. Ardavian's color theory classes.
I have no knowledge of ancient Luxorian oases. These colors could be important to like their gods or whatever, and it would mean like, you know, if anyone has a better idea, throw it out there. Fucking 2 years of theory at Bragg University is not going to save our asses, I do not think.
Which will save our asses one day. And Inara skips forward and approaches the blue stone.
And Sherrilyn, you're holding your hand against the red this whole time, right?
Yeah, she's like full leaning against the stone.
Sounds good.
So yeah, Inara will, I guess, be on the across from you, Sherrilyn, across the gazebo at the other end. She'll step up behind the blue stone and look up at you and go, "Ready?" and reach out.
As you do so, the statue begins to vibrate. With a brilliant blue light is expanded into the gazebo. The gazebo splits itself light-wise, almost half and half, as the red and the blue don't mix. They seem to fight against each other, almost creating this show and pattern as they both fight for supremacy in this space.
Well, it's pretty, but your color theory is bullshit here. Apparently does not apply to magical stones and their light emittance.
Yes, I've never read anything about a color halocline, a color separation. Normally paints just mix.
Sherrilyn rocks the weight of her hand on the indentation from fingers to the heel of her hand, and she still sees that the light is having trouble mixing.
Inara starts to wiggle her the fingers in the holes, trying to see if she could beat the red light. Like this is some kind of thumb war, but with the light emitted from our stones.
Well, there's one more.
Come on, Mr. Ardavian. You can
You
use your
got
flesh
this.
hand if you desire.
The yellow could do acid or fire damage. It is the worst choice between all of them.
Well, so far it is simply a light show.
Yeah, it's not. We haven't had any damage so far, so there's no reason to believe you would.
If you do not feel comfortable, Sir Davian, perhaps I can do it.
I feel like maybe since you're the only one that can defeat the actual orbs, we should keep you in play.
Yes, what my lady said.
I will also say, Sherrilyn and Inara, as both of your hands are on the light, Sherrilyn, you're finding it much easier to manipulate your light with kind of less of it in the space. As you move your fingers and like kind of adjust them, it's much more responsive and easier to move. Inara, you're starting at this position, so as you kind of move it around, it's coming more naturally to you as you kind of form shapes into bits of this light. They just kind of like interplay, dispersing each other like oil and water, at no point becoming purple.
Is there anything
Francis,
significant in structure about this gazebo that the lights are shining on that we can see now that they're illuminated?
It's definitely central to the space here, like to the beach. You can kind of see the light show from any point on the beach. And it's definitely like the only still standing structure as you look around. Everything else has kind of fallen to desolation, but for some reason this has been maintained. Even the stone itself looks polished.
Nothing in the center of the gazebo itself.
Not at present, no. Francis, are you putting your hand on the yellow one?
Well, per Sir Staldo and Anara's recommendation, I'm still going to leave it up to Plato if he does not want to put his hand on the final stone.
I am just concerned. Maybe the yellow is the medium that they mix in. If that was the case, maybe we would have to do that one first. It is difficult to know.
We have already proven that 2 of these 3 do not do any harm and simply illuminate the gazebo.
Carolyn takes her hand off and then puts it on and takes it off and puts it on.
Yeah, each time the light completely dissipates, and in doing so, blue completely fills the space. And then each time it shrinks it back down, kind of as if it's sharing the same resource, and you're taking that resource back for blue from red each time.
Francis is going to see Sherrilyn do that, and then he's going to be like, why don't you 2 try to activate your lights at the same time?
Sure. All right, my lady. On 3, shall we?
Okay, and Inara removes her hand from the stone.
Sherrilyn does too, and then she will count 1, 2, 3.
2, 3.
Place the hand back on.
Same.
As you both place your hands in this, as you both place your hands in the same time, activating your structures as they begin vibrating, the light that begins casting mixes as they're casting together, forming this brilliant purple light that fills the entire gazebo. In doing so, it reveals at the center of the gazebo, right at the bottom, this necrotic, deconsecrated orb of purple energy that almost fills the entire gazebo, kind of emanating this unholiness throughout the beach. There's this soft wind that begins to pick up behind you all as this evil thing is now within the space of previous good, called forth from whatever dimension it was previously existing in.
It's plot important, plot critical, diegetic purple.
Francis sees the light go off and then like sees that the orb is now present in the middle of the gazebo, and he's gonna look back at Plato and be like, see, your theory was actually correct. You just had to implement it in the right way.
Yeah, I think what you mean is I got them to implement it, which works out fine for me. You gonna throw a light ball in there or what?
Well, the last time we did this, it emitted a very powerful shockwave.
So last time we did this, we destroyed the orb. 2 times ago, it emitted a powerful shockwave, but we believe we're on the correct orb now, NE. So it should...
It still did a shockwave. It just so happened that it was underwater and far away from us.
Okay,
If I may also point out, we are all behind giant rocks.
I'm not going to risk it. I like the 60-foot thing, but it just means that we'd have to use... I start walking back to Inara. It just means we'd probably have to use another guiding bolt.
I know it's on the stone.
Oh, right. Fuck. Never mind. I'll walk back to the horses. Francis is like having a conversation with me and I start wandering away. I just think it would be better, if we keep a safe distance. So, I mean, we can keep,
You just go tend to the horses, Davy, and we will be right with you.
Absolutely. Just let me know how many of Sherrilyn's javelins we spend on this one.
Bold of you to assume I would use my javelins.
Well, we've established a bit of a pattern. Try and throw the javelins and then we do the guiding bolt, but I'm sure we'll spice it up this time.
I mean, I could just walk up to it and hit it if somebody takes the red stone.
Well, Francis did mention the 60-foot wave, which I had forgotten.
So Francis is going to be like looking at this orbit and looks at both Sherrilyn and I and just be like, do you want me to go for the orb now while you two are in the immediate area, or shall we find a way to get yourself to a safe distance?
Well, we don't know that if we remove our hands that the orb will still be visible as a target. And as she says this, Inara will gently and slowly lift her hand from the stone to see what happens.
Can I get a... Wait a second. I have to look at my color scale. One sec.
What ratio of red to blue?
Wait, which one were you on? Were you on blue?
I'm on blue.
All right. As you release your hand, the entire orb turns black for just a second, and you feel the kind of air begin to grow cold as the orb disappears completely, and then the red reignites the air around it. The orb gone, the gazebo filled with this brilliant, beautiful red light.
Okay, so getting out of the 60-foot range is not an option. So maybe we should just go for it. And she'll look up to Sherrilyn and be like, okay, do you want to take your hands off so we could do this again in unison?
And I will again say, for both of the ones on the right and left, the hand positions are very low. So you're kind of like crouched over or even prone as you're putting your hands here.
Would that be considered half cover for them?
It's like a foot up on the stone. Yeah, definitely half cover.
We'll see. Maybe you should stand behind the last one if you're going to sort of strike. Sherrilyn might have a point with the standing stones.
Thank you.
Yep. I'm still back here, though. Far.
For when those werejackals bit into the stone, I felt very secure.
Francis is going to start walking towards the gazebo, and he is going to stand behind the yellow one, kind of at an angle so he can still see like in the center of where the orb was. And he's going to look both at Sherrilyn and I was like, okay, whenever you two ladies are ready, we'll get this orb back and send it on its merry way.
All right. On 3. 1, 2, 3. She places her hand back on.
As Inara does the same.
Here we go.
But yeah, as the purple light fills the gazebo, once again reapparating this purple orb.
All right, and with that, Francis is going to cast Guiding Bolt at the orb at first level.
Hell yeah, roll me to hit. Anyone steadying Francis' arm for the help action or anything?
I don't think anyone's going to be near me to do that.
The standing stones are right next to each other. They are like 1, 2, 3. Like you can be within 5 feet.
Reach over and adjust his elbow.
Roll with advantage. Help action acquired.
Okay, the first one is a 23. And 23 again.
23 is definitely enough. As the courses in that same implosion sound occurs as the orb kind of falls in apart itself, and just a second or two pass, and then a massive explosion of force emanates from the gazebo, whipping up a sandstorm at the edge of the water right away. All of you are safe behind the standing stones, but Plato, you lose vision of all of them as the sand on the beach just whips up into this frenzy.
I've killed them! Oh, Grizzly Hawk, and I have terrible news. Oh, wait.
The sand settles.
We're fine. False alarm.
All three of them are covered in sand, but definitely okay. Almost immediately, all of the darkness in the area gives way to light as the brilliant sun above Luxoria fills the area again within 600 feet, as this quarter of the oasis is cleansed of the darkness that cursed it.
Yeah, Francis would emerge from the sand pile, just like shaking his hair out. It's like, well, that went better than I expected. Sans the sand.
Excellently shot, Sir.
Right.
As you all release your hands and the light fades, and you're just greeted by the regular daylight instead.
Now I am
Inara
curious.
puts her face to the sun as she cleanses off the sand, enjoying the heat of it after all that darkness. Before we attacked it, could we still hear that thumping, or were we too far to hear it when we were at the gazebo?
You had gone pretty far from it.
Okay.
But if you were all walking back that way, there is no thumping to be heard.
They must be asleep.
That was a hell of a party at night.
Will we have to go back to the middle crossroads, meaning we have to check on the giant hate orb?
Are you all headed back to the middle crossroads?
Yes, I believe we are, as we have to pass through there to reach the other ones.
It's the most direct route, unfortunately, because the two directions we now seek to do are, well, not opposite, right? Oh, yes, they are, because we're going to west, so they are opposite one another.
All right. You all head back through. Again, the light itself is going to continue all the way to the center of that center platform. The sand again giving way to the kind of worked road here. It's kind of set stones within. Once again, you can see even from a distance within this light here that the orb has gotten much, much bigger and much less orb-shaped as this thing has unfurled into a large reptilian-like creature, now almost crescent-shaped now, floating above the ground. It looks like it's digesting some things, as it's like bulbous and much larger in its lower part of its body, still kind of tucked into its own chest, but growing and unfurled. It kind of takes up a large central part of the center platform here.
Is the creature inside moving?
As you inspect it from the distance here, focusing your eyes, you don't see any continued movement, but it definitely has moved since the last time you've seen it.
This is looking more snake-like.
Excellent. So it was very cognizant probably when I approached it last.
Did you mention, Sherrilyn, that its purpose was maintenance?
Maintenance?
I mean, at the very least, I would guess that it just keeps the place deconsecrated, so we will soon probably have to, kill it. I don't think I've ever killed something that size before.
It will likely be bigger.
Are we capable of that?
Mr. Ardabian, if I may, you've seemed more neurotic lately than usual, which is difficult to achieve.
Yes, I do not like this oasis and the things it has forced me to relive, so sorry if I want it obliterated or gone from my memory.
In this moment, you all hear coming loudly from the south.
Oh gods, no! Please help me! That's not Inara! Please help!
Do you hear another of her?
I look at Inara.
Inara's eyebrows are way up high, her eyes are wide, and she goes, "That wasn't me."
You hear it one more time, this time a little more panicked.
Help me! Someone, please help!
Sherrilyn reaches down. I'm assuming Inara is behind her on the same horse again, so she reaches down and touches her forearm.
Yeah, Inara, I guess, will clasp your hand, sort of, one, freaked out to hear her own voice echoed back at her and not sounding happy, but to reaffirm that she is still present and that's not her voice.
This is fucked up.
This is very fucked up.
So we all heard it the same this time, the same voice, and it was certainly Inara's voice.
Yes, we all heard it, and it sounded like Inara to me. And it sounded like Inara to Inara?
It definitely, I recognize my own voice, but we have been causing damage to whatever is maintaining this cursed space. I guess it's not unlikely that it would try to lure us into some kind of trap.
It has been trying to do that. I look down at Inara's shadow. Is it different or weird in any way?
With the bright light kind of cast directly overhead, the shadow of Inara is hard to spot coming off the horse. It's kind of all a little bit intermixed, but nothing about it looks strange.
It is beginning to seem like this is a ploy to try and lure us away from our purpose again.
Then we ignore it as before and continue onwards.
I say we just ignore it. It might be luring us to a place where it does have more control over us. Otherwise, it would have done what it did before and just come out to meet us.
Looking where Plato was looking at her own shadow, and she goes, I don't think it's dark enough for it to come to us here. Perhaps that is why it needs us to go back into the darkness. And then she looks up and realizes, well, we have to go back into the darkness. We still have 2 more orbs to destroy.
Yes, we have to go into the darkness to the west.
Was the west the direction with which we heard Inara's voice?
No, that came from the south.
The south?
Perhaps that's why it's luring us there. It's in the wrong direction, so that we maybe mess up the order in which we destroy them.
Coming from the south, you hear one more sound. The pained cries of Inara ring out.
This is unpleasant to hear.
I popped the earwax into my ears. Some earwax I got from Inara the previous time. I cross my hands over my chest. I say, it's awful, awful here.
All right. We're continuing onwards. Shadow creature, I bid you adieu.
That was polite of you.
Do we walk around this central kind of unwrapping creature? Or do we walk right past it? Just so I know.
I give it a wider berth this time because it's starting to
skirt it.
become more and more like out of its shell.
Right, rad. All right, you all head past it, giving it a wider berth, heading west. The road to the west here is much simpler. It kind of remains this dirt-worked path. And it looks like this land was probably used for something at some point, but now there's just desolate palm trees occasionally marking the land as you all continue forth. And then a little bit further in the distance, you see kind of along the road to both sides a series of different standing stones, a few tens of feet apart. It takes a little bit to settle what this is as you look at the different symbols and sigils and names on the standing stones, as you realize that you're kind of riding through a graveyard, a cemetery around you in the darkness here as you focus in your eyes. There's standing stones quite a ways in both directions, kind of framing the oasis. At the edge of the oasis on the opposite side, you hear the sounds of a waterfall as you see, again, this pool of water, a waterfall crashing behind the rock. Again, framing this oasis with these 2 large mountainsides that you're bypassing by going directly through. As you see the water crash into it, you come to the edge of this oasis, 500 feet, or maybe a little bit less than that, 300 feet, kind of traversed along this path of bones and remembered names.
Do we still hear the sound of Inara's cries?
After that last pain sound, no other sounds have come.
Is it very quiet in this graveyard then?
The sounds of the waterfall to due west from your location kind of break the silence just a bit. But outside of that, yeah, there's no foreign sounds to except for your party and the waterfall that you detect. But if you like, you can go ahead and roll me a perception check.
I would be delighted.
What a lovely waterfall. I so seldom see them at this height and this ferocity.
As you look at the waterfall, so roll me a perception check.
I mean, most of the ones that reach this altitude in Perian are all, well, artificial, created by the sluice. Except for Neto's rally, of course. He's yelling a little bit because he still has the wax in his ears.
Sherrilyn only got a 7 on her perception check.
16.
So Sherrilyn, you look down and see crystal clear water. Even with your dark vision, you can see through it. The water itself looks very, very clean coming down from this waterfall, even with the darkness. Plato, what you see with a 16, just a glimmer of, as your eyes kind of look up and down the waterfall, probably about 100, maybe 120 feet up this cliffside. on the waterfall itself, up this like maybe 300-foot cliffside, is a glimmer of purple coming from behind the waterfall.
We've got an orb behind the waterfall. It's a classic.
What? Where?
Halfway up, I indicate. Well, you're blind anyway. Why do you think this is going to work, Sherrilyn? You keep
I
asking.
can see gray scale.
All right, I indicate a pathway up the waterfall to Sherrilyn. Looks like right around here, this area, there's an orb.
She leans over and is pointing along with him.
Too
Right,
close.
right about here? Huh?
Yes, right about there. Don't get so close to me, please.
Right. So it's behind the waterfall. Well, javelin's out of the question.
Mm.
I believe
France-
most things are out of the question unless we can figure out a way to get closer.
Yeah, how far away is that? Like, even behind a waterfall? Can we gauge how far behind it is?
Yeah. You know what? Sure. Go ahead and give me an investigation check as you stare at the purple light
I'm just
leaking through this
imagining.
waterfall.
Just thinking, what's the depth of that thing? Oh boy,
That's
straight
a
roll.
very fair question.
That's a 2.
Yeah, you have no idea. But you don't think it's right on the edge, that's for sure. You don't think it's right behind the
Perhaps-
waterfall.
Perhaps more of Mr. Ardavian's education could come in helpful here. Perhaps you could stop the water?
Well, I could shape water, but I'd have to be quite a bit closer to it, so that would be difficult. I can swim quite well and can breathe underwater, so I could get closer, but I fear it would blind me terribly.
I believe touching this water in any capacity is out of the question given our past encounters with this area.
Is there anything beside, at the top of this waterfall? Is there like any trees or anything that's next to the water standing upright?
At the top of the waterfall?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, from your perspective, there's definitely large rocks. It's kind of hard to tell, just because of your perspective. You're very close to this cliff face. You can only really see the real front of the cliff face. There's probably some sort of tree line or something if you're trying to attach something to it.
Sherrilyn cuts off Plato from his babbling of all of his other skills that are not exactly relevant to what she's trying to allude to right now.
You asked me.
And she instead says, what if we created a sluice or a dam to stop the water from falling?
I mean,
There are also those climbing potions that I purchased and distributed amongst you, although their efficacy is now in question after our previous experiences. And she looks up the side of the waterfall, on the sides of the water itself. What is the cliff face, I guess, look like? Is it climbable for someone with my abilities?
Yeah, I mean, it is dark because it's still within the orb's radius for sure.
I mean,
So
I have
it won't
dark
be the
vision.
easiest thing in the world. But
Okay.
there's definitely, especially the further away from the water you go, there's more rocky outcrops and probably handholds. You think it might be easiest to probably climb further away and then kind of diagonally move closer to the waterfall based on your observing of the rock here.
So, studying the landscape around the waterfall, Inara points up towards the jaggier edges, like farther out, and goes, I believe I can make that climb. If I take some rope up with me, maybe I could find an anchor up there and position it for you guys to use.
Francis would reach into his pouch, was now on the side of Grizzly, and just hold up a part of the ropes. Would this work for you?
That should work.
Well, do we have to do radiant damage to it still? I don't know if...
Radiant damage is the surest way to get rid of it.
I could try and freeze the water from a distance, but I don't know how much of an opening that would make for an attack.
Perhaps if you just froze above where it is, so it makes a little curtain opening in a sense.
I was thinking that, but I would have to climb up anyway, because I could maybe use Ray of Frost for that, but the range is 120 feet, and it's already a 170 is halfway up the waterfall.
There might be things we could push into the water up top that we can't see that could just block the flow.
It seems as though regardless of how we block this water, we have to go up to that vantage point.
We'll have to climb, yes. Or some of us will. I don't think we have enough potions for all of us to climb, but someone should climb up, use the pythons and the rope from the temple, and create sort of a line.
I'm already blinded from before,
Yes,
so
you
I
should.
don't mind drinking one of these potions
You
and
should,
try.
yes. You should definitely take one of the climbing potions. I am at least somewhat dexterous. I might be able to climb up behind you all.
I think Inara has the best chances of being able to climb in the dark while carrying the bag. So she'll reach for the bag of tools from the temple and strap it onto her back. And then she'll gesture to Sherrilyn and be like, "You stay close. And that way I can guide you up. Strength-wise, I know you have what it takes, but it doesn't matter how strong you are if you can't see what you're reaching for."
That is a very fair observation. She uncorks the potion of climbing and gives it a sniff. What do you think is in this thing anyway?
As a maker of potions myself, I find it better not to ask.
Very reassuring. She'll try to drink it all at once so that she doesn't have to taste it.
Hell yeah, you gain a climbing speed equal to your walking speed as it goes down. You do get like something stuck in just the upper part of your throat as the rest of it goes down very, very gently.
Ew.
Do you choke it down? Whatever it is?
How large of an obstruction would
How
this
did
be?
heaven-
It just feels like a kind of light obstruction. It's not super big.
I think if she felt like if it was residual or something, I think she'd try to cough it up.
Please no.
Seeing you start to gag a little bit, Inara will be like, "All the way down now."
Happy
Just keep going.
Halloween.
As you cough it up, you feel a little bit of fuzz as you feel come to your tongue the form of a spider.
You know, I was going to joke and say that it was made of spiders, but
She tries to spit out the spider and
no, that might have been a part of the
and
merchant
she
of
try,
merchants.
and then as soon as it's come out, she immediately goes about trying to step on the thing. Not because she's scared of it, but because it was disgusting.
Stop that! Stop it! Plato sort of tries to push her away. That might be the merchant. We're so sorry, sir.
It's definitely dead before it even left
Damn it.
Cheryl. It was dead when it was in the as you watch it come out of Sherrilyn's mouth. It is very much a dead spider, but it is a large, very fuzzy.
Well, I
spider
think we
as it
know
hits the
how
ground.
it is a potion of climbing.
This is the worst day. Remind me never to buy another concoction from a person of the merchant ever again.
I mean, it had to be made of something that could climb. You know that, right? She says as she reaches for the second bottle and uncorks it.
No, in fact, I did not. I am not an alchemist by any means. I've never claimed.
Seems strangely literal.
Inara, do you down it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have no problems whatsoever. It goes down real smooth. All right, you both have a climbing speed equal to your movement speed.
Sherilyn's
as
just
you
had a
take to
spider
the
in hers.
cliffside.
Sherilyn's just had a dead
Sherrilyn's
spider.
got spiked.
Spooky.
As we take to the cliffside, Nara and Sherrilyn, are you attaching yourselves to each other?
Yes, how romantic. Around the waist, of course.
Absolutely.
All right. With this potion, at least definitely for the first part of this climb, I don't need any sort of check, as the potion imbues you with the ability to kind of preternaturally climb this wall. Even the handholds are coming easier to you, location wise, as you kind of search above. You're finding a very easy groove to it. As Francis and Plato, you watch from the ground here, as in the darkness and kind of coverage of the sound of the waterfall fading behind them. They begin to scale the side of the cliffside here.
Plato leans over. Gay. No, kidding.
So you are not doing any better at beating the allegations.
Yes, well, don't tell Sherilyn I said that.
You have no problem 60 feet, 70 feet now on the cliffside. The wind kind of picking up around you all, your hair, your clothes kind of catching it on the cliffside as you maintain your pace. What is your approach here?
I guess I should have asked this before we started, but how much rope was I given in that bag? Like how
50
long?
feet.
Okay, so I think when we reach the 50-foot mark up the cliffside, we should stop at a like outcropping of rocks that has enough space for us to stand, and Inara will untie the rope from herself, hand her end to Sherrilyn, and be like, "I believe out of the two of us, you might be the best at tying secure knots."
What makes you say that?
I saw your face when you saw my not tying Harkin to the rest of the horses, she says.
I thought you were referring to. Yeah, probably. Yes. And I also have another 50 feet of rope if it would come in handy.
At your hesitance, she smirks and goes, "Oh, no, those knots I'm very adept at. But let's just say I like to make my knots easy to get out of. Makes the play more fun."
What do you think they're talking about up there? I think Sharon's blushing.
How can you tell from this distance?
It's just a feeling.
You two have gotten so close that you can just feel when she is blushing.
Oh, shut up.
Sherrilyn is tying the two coils of ropes together so that they have one really long coil of rope. Where exactly are you asking her to tie this, by the way?
Well, considering how rocky this is, I'm imagining there must be like a boulder that we could use as an anchor point and send the rest of the rope down to the boys.
Sure, yes. I'll reach around to this side if you'll take it from me. My arms are not as long as the rock is wide.
I think so with some pythons, or pitons.
No, I was going to say, if we have a python, then she'll bury the python into the rock, and then when you place a nail and it's kind of upright, but it's not in yet. So once it's stood upright, she'll oh gosh, what do I have to lay across it? She'll lay the sword across the top and kind of hammer her fist down on it as if you're like crushing apart garlic cloves.
So Inara had been like searching through her bag, like reaching down, trying to find the perfect tool for it, and then she hears the banging and looks up and goes, "Or I guess bare hands work fine too."
Is she hitting the rock?
As you're able to easily mash it into place.
I mean, I guess they don't have a hammer. Quite resourceful.
She gazes down from the cliffside and offers you guys a thumbs up.
This is a cool game of Peak we're playing.
I mean, at least she has gauntlets on.
Right? Are you all headed waterward?
Yeah, I guess we'll climb, or at least we can climb up to that first. We'll leave our horses here at the base, since it should be far enough from the orb, and climb up to that first 50-foot platform.
Yeah, rope's quite heavy, so Sherry takes the bundle of it and heaves it over the side so that it falls down the cliff face.
Yeah, from Plato and Francis, I will need an athletics check as you climb, but it will be at advantage using the rope.
Please, Sir Davian, after you.
Of course. At least then if I fall on you, it will not be bad. As mentioned before, I am lighter than I look.
I will take your word for that. Please do not make me put it to the test.
Well, I have a -1 to athletics, so it
already
might
off
be...
to a good start.
Says it's with advantage, though. Yeah, unfortunately, that will be an 8 for me, so maybe you should go first.
Yeah, so Plato, you make it up a good 30 feet or so. And as you reach for one of these handholds, it looked very, very sturdy, and it was a few minutes ago, but it's been used twice now, and it kind of gives way as you slip and fall 30 feet into the waiting pool of water beneath.
Damn.
Can I catch him before he falls all the way in? Like,
you can try, but if it goes poorly, you will also fall.
I don't know if it's... I mean, I obviously have no say in this.
What are you doing?
Peer pressure, do it.
What would it be, an athletics check?
Be a dexterity saving throw.
Fuck out the ball.
Be a hero.
Oh, yeah. Francis reaches a hand out to try and catch Plato mid-fall here.
15?
15 is exactly the DC I had set here. As Plato becomes tumbling down, that water is hella cursed. Plato is about to lose his vision as well as Francis reaches an arm out, and Plato, your water hand is within grasp, just barely reaching. Do you grab it?
Yes, I think I reach out sort of desperately, sort of willing my arm forward to try and grab him.
He grasps you, and you kind of very gently, with his momentum and your fall here, grasp onto the wall beneath him along that same rope pattern. As you're kind of like hanging off his arm, you reestablish your hold with your other hand.
Hearing the, I guess, noises coming from over the cliff, Inara will stick her head out, look down just in time to see them clasp hands, and they're like, I guess, holding almost onto each other, and just looks down and goes, "Gay."
Yes, they're getting along quite well, it looks like.
So, David, are you quite alright?
I think Plato for a moment was very frightened. He looked down into that water and it wasn't friendly water, the kind of water he likes. So for a moment, he's like just sort of close to someone, which he rarely is. And then after a moment, sort of pushes away. Yes, fine. Totally fine. Thank you. I owe you my sight, Sathon.
Yes, well, maybe you should just sit here a moment and gather yourself, and then I will head up if you are quite alright with that.
Yes, I will. He walks like several distinct paces away from the water and plops down onto his ass. He's shaking.
If I could see color, I would say maybe he's blushing.
It's just a feeling.
Francis, go ahead and roll me an athletics check at advantage.
Unlike Sardavian, I have a +2, so hopefully this goes better. That's a nat 20. Okay, we're good.
But yeah, Francis, this is fun. I don't know how much like previous climbing you've done, but you're finding it very easy to find different handholds in this wall, especially with the rope here, the wind in your hair. You feel a slight sense of freedom even amongst this curse.
A little different than climbing trees, but yeah.
Look at him go! Who would have thought royalty would be able to climb rocks like that?
He's like a monkey.
Like the opening scene from Mission
I think.
Impossible 2.
Sherrilyn and Inara, are we still climbing? Are we waiting for Francis?
I think you guys can get 50 feet higher up with the other set of rope. Then you would be within 120 feet of it, but I don't know if you can hit it.
I think I'm already within range of like where the orb would be.
Yeah, but I think you might have disadvantage to hit while it's behind the waterfall.
Which is why we need it to stop flowing.
Yeah.
Then we continue to climb. Shall we, Inara?
Let's do it. And as we prepare to climb again, she'll call down to Plato. Once Sherrilyn and I get close enough, maybe if you could freeze the water, then we could shatter it. And but when I say we, I mean her. And she points to Sherrilyn.
I don't think I can freeze it from down here, and I am worried about climbing.
Yes, I'm worried about you climbing too.
Do you need me to come back down?
No, that seems like a lot, so let's not do that. I'll just psych myself up. I'll psych myself up. You all keep climbing. All right.
After you, my lady.
Inara takes one last look down at Plato, slightly concerned for him and wondering if maybe she should stay close to him in case he almost falls again. But then looks back up at you and sees your black eyes and goes, well, she needs me too. Well, his boyfriend will get him if he needs him. And she'll tie the other end of your rope around her waist and start climbing, but still keeping an ear out for any screams from below.
Heaven forbid I help another man.
Inara was the biggest Fredo shipper all along.
Yeah, it gets him out of an arranged marriage.
I mean, you're proving yourself quite handy, but I ship any and all relationships.
She just wants to see people like one another.
Why can't we be friends?
Again, until you get closer to the water, I don't need any rolls from you guys with the pushing of climbing. They make it very easy as you like basically almost stick to the walls here.
Do the Spider-Man test.
Man, that spider did come in handy.
It's a good thing I am not afraid of heights. Benefit of living on a cliff face your whole life.
The wind picks up, the waterfall ever present. You kind of have to shout to get over the noise. You're getting closer now. You think, based on Plato's estimations, you can see the purple light kind of bleeding through pretty easily. It's probably a large cliff face here. The lower part of it probably 140 feet off the ground. The upper part probably 170, probably 30 foot wide opening behind this waterfall that the orb finds itself in. What's our approach as we get closer and closer? What's the strategy overall?
I think Sherrilyn's intention was to climb all the way to the top and then see if there was anything up there that would stop the water. I think that would still be her intention.
So yeah, once we get to the bottom, like the base of that cliff, so about 130 feet up, Inara will deftly climb on and reach behind her, hold out a hand for Sherrilyn to help her get up, what with the blindness and all, and then just study the area leading up to the water to see if there is anything we could do.
You look, this is definitely the start of the webways. And as you look around, there's a few different pieces of flora and architecture at the top here. A few tall palm trees, a few massive cacti with like huge amounts of different branches of cacti growing off of them, almost like a fungal structure, but instead replaced with these like prickly, like growing fruit, all kind of along the top of this immediate structure. As you're able to scale the non-watery part of this cliff with ease, Sherrilyn, getting to the top here, the past that, it kind of is this bumpy, half flatland, half kind of filled in dunes mixed together. Nara, you know this to be the structure of the webways, known for its large arachnid figures. But people live here as well. But you border on that here as you climb this cliff face. You see all of the oasis shrouded in darkness before you. As you make it to the cliffside, daylight returns. The curse seems to kind of end along this border here just for a bit. There's a few feet at the top of the cliffside that's still in darkness, but you can easily back out of it. As it doesn't seem to pierce the mountainside behind it for some reason.
Can we see how deep the water is up top?
There's a river that runs through the webways here that pretty shallow. It does connect at two other tributaries a little bit further up that are feeding into it right now with rushing water, probably from storms somewhere in Perian that seems to go off the back and around the mountainside, finding these different deposits of water. You could probably, with some work, dam it, spending some time damming those two tributaries and slow the water to lessen the waterfall's intent and impact for sure.
We could at least start with one of them and then see if that is enough for Francis to land his shot on the orb. Those palm trees look skinny enough. I might be able to chop one down, and I'll have to spend some time sharpening my sword after.
If they're going to get to work on that, Plato has been at the bottom of the rope, psyching himself up. He says, all right, you're the water guy. If you can get up there, you can redirect the flow of water. You just have to climb a rope. It's just like Netter's Rally. Okay, ready? Go. And he's going to take another attempt to get up to the first 50-foot platform.
Francis is watching him very concerned.
Athletics check with advantage.
Oh, lordy.
It's almost very bad. My first one was a 6, but my second was an 18, which -1 is a 17.
Yeah, 17, no issues whatsoever. You can make it up with relative ease, kind of following Francis's path here, the recently tread rock. As you hold on to the rope, you're able to make it up to that first 50-foot platform, no problem.
Right,
I see you made it this time.
Yes, it was apparently a matter of overcoming a personal will. I don't know if rock climbing is for me. Well, if there's a space behind the waterfall, hopefully we only just need to get someone in there. But then maybe it's a pulse, because hopefully once it's destroyed, right, it will clear the water, so they'll be able to come out without it being an issue.
That is a good point you bring up. When we do indeed get rid of this orb, just as the previous two, they were very violent in that dispersion. Would that not send the water in multiple directions? Or if we were to freeze it, ice shards everywhere.
You say that, and you can see that there was ice like forming on his arm as he was like sort of taking aim on where he might fire an ice spell. Well, I've at 120 feet or just about, I can fire a ray of frost that might be able to freeze it somewhat. If I got closer, I can change the flow of the water for around an area, make it maybe easier to aim in for a more permanent thing, but I would have to climb up quite a bit higher, I think, which would be perhaps hard.
Perhaps.
There's at least rope for another 50 feet, right?
I want to say yes, because we already used my 50 feet.
And then they climbed up to the top, and I'm going to assume...
I had another 50 feet of rope that I was using.
So I'm going to assume there's like another, but that I think still doesn't get me within 30 feet of the opening, I would guess.
No, you'd still be about 70 short.
Well, we can always pull up the rope behind us.
Well, they're up there now, and I do believe, from what I've gathered over the rushing water, they are trying to slow down the water flow, so we shall wait and see.
You might be able to hear over the sound of the rushing waterfall the hacking of a sword against a tree.
Thunk, thunk, thunk.
How effective is a sword at chopping down a tree?
I mean, it's a sharp edge against wood, so like it's not as heavy as an axe, but it's still kind of like...
You said they're like palm trees too, right? So it's not
Yeah.
like you're trying to get through an oak.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an athletics check. See how long it takes you.
Plato's gonna coil up the rope that he just climbed up. He's gonna pull it
Sounds
up.
good.
Okay, that's a 10 plus 2 for a 12.
Yeah, it doesn't take you very long at all as you begin cutting across this palm tree. A couple of minutes goes by. And are you helping at all?
I mean, I don't know how I would help without putting myself in the direct path of the sword.
Yes, stand clear. Oh, there's some like hairy bits.
I just mean in the effort at all. I don't mean with the specific action.
Sure, she will, cheer her on. You got this. This is you get that tree. She's like squinting, trying to make sure none of the flying shrapnel and splinters get into her eye.
Inara is bringing a specific vibe to the Oasis.
Sounds good. Yeah, you all work together. Plato, you coil the rope.
I said, did we want to try and climb up that next 50 feet since there's rope for it?
Francis would look at Plato with the new like 50 feet above and be like, seeing as though unless I can curve it around and get a lucky hit on it, I do not see this being a proper vantage point for myself.
All right, up we go. I will go first. Do please catch me again if I fall.
I will try again. You are, like you say, lighter than you think.
Yes, I am.
Sounds good. Yeah, give me a DC 12 athletics check as you ascend this next 50 at advantage, utilizing the rope.
That'll be a failure, so let's hope the second one is better. Oh, excellent. 17 minus 1, 16.
No problems whatsoever as you're able to ascend. You're at least 100, maybe a little bit more than that, feet up the wall now.
Yes, so from this position, I could try... Ray of Frost is a cantrip. Is there any way I can try and aim above where the thing is to see if there's any efficacy to like freezing the water above it? Like if it creates video game like, like that.
Yeah, it's a cantrip.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So yeah, from where we are, I sort of lean back and I just fire above.
Yeah, as your ice spell kind of hits the water, go ahead and roll me that's a hit check to see how accurately you can.
So it's a +5. 15, 10 plus 5.
15, yeah, you're able to very quickly locate a good spot for it and hit it with the ice. And it does almost immediately freeze over, but the weight of the waterfall is such that it kind of destroys the ice after a second or two. If a little less water was flowing from the top, you could probably freeze it to make an opening here.
Excellent. All right.
We cut to the top as Sherrilyn finishes cutting across the palm tree.
Timber.
Sploosh.
As you all hear the of the kind of dried palm hitting the ground.
Well, it seems like they've done their part.
Yes, if only there was just a little bit less water.
I'd imagine like as the tree falls down, there's like a little surge of water. At first, it just stops flowing like as heavily.
I just need Sherrilyn and Inara to just carry it to one of the tributaries, because otherwise it'll just fall down the waterfall. You do need to carry it to one of those two points. I just need an athletics check from both of you together. You can either give one with advantage or two separately.
How strong are you, Inara? Didn't you just put some points into strength?
She's becoming stronger.
I mean, to bring it up to a 0, so
Oh.
it would be a straight roll.
So I'll just grab this side of the butt of the tree, and you'll grab the other, and we'll just drag it along. And I
can
shall
do
roll
that.
twice. All right. Okay, the first one's a 17 plus 2 for a 19, which is good because the second would have been a critical failure.
Yeah, 19, no problems whatsoever. We'll represent that critical failure with Inara's help action. Sherrilyn, you're not sure how much of it Inara's carrying, if any, as it doesn't seem like you keep rebalancing yourself to the middle of it instead of to your side.
That's
as
right.
it
Yep,
seems
that's
like
right. Just a little to the left.
maybe Inara's not pulling her full weight here. As Inara, this thing's really fucking heavy, and like the more you
pick
take
it up
on, the
just a
more you
little
think you're
further.
just gonna like fall over.
Trying.
As
You
Sherrilyn
see
keeps
Inara,
adapting.
like it looks like her arms are about to come off, and she's like, "Eek."
There's a
I got
point
this.
where you see
got
Inara
this.
kind of rubbing her hands together because they hurt, and they're not. Neither of them are on the tree.
Her feet are up off the ground.
Right.
as you carry the tree without any problem and lay it against the tributary, the effect does not take long to emerge as the waterfall kind of begins to thin out, revealing a pretty significant cave opening here, probably about 35 feet across. and the purple light just dim, showcasing that the orb itself is probably located deeper within. As the water thins out, Plato, you still experimenting with your ice, are able to create a quite significant hold over quite a large portion of the waterfall now, as this kind of thin stream from just one of the tributary kind of slowly paces over the cliffside.
Yes, he's made his hand into a finger gun, and he just keeps shooting off a little crystal that hits the waterfall, and ice is above it.
Catholic cantrips.
Yes, thank God for studying magic. But do we have an angle on it yet, or what is the situation there?
Not from the cliffside. You might be able to shoot from the ground, or if someone was flying, but to get a like line of sight on the orb itself, you'd probably have to be at the cliffside opening.
Son of a bitch.
How far over is
Yeah.
that from like where we've been climbing?
40 feet, and it's wet. There's not rope set up in that direction.
This is
The ice begins to break apart just a little bit, strands of water falling through.
Sherrilyn leans over the edge. What is it? What's going on? Have you destroyed the orb yet?
No, we have to like get in there, or get Francis in there at least. Or maybe
So
we
climb further?
we could perhaps drop a rope from the top where they are and go down, freezing it in the meantime, or pushing the shape of it around. If we get up to the top, I can shape the water so that maybe you could, create an avenue to climb downward.
So in that way I can just go down and dip in rather than having to shimmy my way across rather.
Yes, we'll tie you into a harness, and so Sherrilyn can lower you down, and we'll keep the water flow, and then when you shoot the orb, we'll just pull you right back up. It'll be very easy.
And by we, you mean I will be pulling him back up.
I mean you, yes. I'm sorry I can't hear you over the waterfall.
What?
Yeah.
So wait, you're gonna waterboard him? You're gonna
No.
lower him down the side of a
No.
waterfall, just the water just hitting him in the face
No.
the whole time.
No. That's not what we're going to do. If I can get to the top, which we just need one of you to climb back down so that we can sort of rope our way up, Jake, sort of a leapfrog rope, then I can at the top cast shape water and sort of create like a stream through which he can climb down.
Yeah. It'll still be slippery, but you won't be facing the active water.
And we can tie him and have Sherrilyn anchor one end of the rope, and then instead of him climbing, we can just sort of make it a group strength. We can try and make it a group strength check.
Hell yeah! All right, it just requires one of you to go back down, and then Plato to make a climbing check with advantage to the rest of the top.
Sherrilyn is still under the effects of the climbing potion. It's probably safer.
Well, I feel like it might be Inara's advantage here because she can see and has the climbing potion effect as well.
Sherrilyn can see. She just can't see color.
Okay.
It's dark here, so she can still see. It's just not, defined.
Up to you.
I think she'll be fine. And because she's using that climbing potion, I think it's probably safer, especially if the surface is not dry.
Right.
So she can scale down part way, repositioning the rope that they used on the second half of their climb. Okay, then she essentially sticks to the side of the cliff. So she will walk down the side of the cliff, reach down for the rope to take it from whomever has it.
Yes, I brought it up. I coiled it.
She takes the coil rope from Mr. Ardavian. She'll climb back up. Then she'll lower it down.
if you said it was 300 feet total, we would have to make, I think, like 4 more athletics checks, or maybe if she has the 100 feet, maybe 2 more.
One more from Francis, and then 2 more from Plato as you scale the rest of the cliff. If you want to just roll me 1 more athletics check from Francis, DC 12.
Okay.
And I'm assuming we're still using the ropes if Sherrilyn's going ahead of us.
Yeah, as Sherrilyn with her climbing potion is able to easily
That's an
maneuver.
18 off the bat, so
Francis is able to make it to the top of the cliff side, no problem. Plato, you're 2. Both at advantage.
19, natural 20. I watch Francis go up, and I'm inspired.
With the natural 20, you don't even need the second roll.
Cool.
You can easily scale the rest of this, utilizing your momentum here. I think you find a way to incorporate your water arm in the climbing you weren't using before. Like, I think you can kind of Mr. Incredible it a little bit, and
Mr.
you like weren't
Fantastic.
using that functionality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mr. Fantastic.
I hate his power. That's why
You
I
hate stretching.
look at you go, so Davian.
Yes, I'm getting the hang of it. Now time to dangle you over the edge of a waterfall.
Don't remind me. Just get it over with.
So I like to think that maybe after tightening the rope in this new position that's above the cave face, well, to the side and above the cave face, there's a little extra slack at the top so the rest of the party can grab hold of it for security reasons as he is going to be swinging.
Yes, I walk over to see what you have set up here. This looks good. This looks good.
I'm so glad you approve. Now please tie this around your around your waist, Sirthon.
Yes. Well, it's not exactly the most comfortable, but it'll be due.
Now, would you like to jump off or base jump?
So Plato's shaping the water to disrupt the water flow to the central part of the waterfall here.
Yes, it says I can manipulate or change the flow of water within a 5-foot space, like change its total direction. So I was just gonna split it in that, like in a 5-foot cube, so that there's like a angle he can climb down the middle of.
Sounds good. Francis, it's slippery, but Plato has created an opening here, so you're not constantly bombarded with the continued onslaught of the water. Do you begin your descent?
Quick question before I do go down. As I was telling Sardavian, the dissipation of this orb tends to be quite violent in nature. When I do get rid of it and this force comes back at me, might I trust that you do not let me go swinging off into the nightlight?
I have no reason to let go.
We would never, Sirthon. He's like,
how far are you from the rest of the group right now? How far down?
Oh,
it would be about, I think, 40 feet down from where everyone else is.
Yeah, once we lower him, he's with us right now.
In response to your question, Inara will ready a casting of Featherfall, just in case.
Readying it does expend the spell slot, just so you know, if you don't cast it.
That's perfectly fine. I'd rather lose the spell slot than lose him. We still have another orb and a journey and...
Sounds good.
But then you wouldn't have to worry about your arranged marriage.
Yeah, sorry, my fiance just flew off into the night.
I'm really not worried, because it sounds like even if the arranged marriage goes through, he's got Plato, so he will be well entertained.
On this right now.
Entertained?
He seems to enjoy rock climbing. Perhaps he'd equally enjoy base jumping.
All right, Francis, do you begin your descent?
Yep.
All right. I just need a DC 10 athletics check here. Even though it is wet, you do have your friends holding on to you here as you begin your descent.
So straight roll or advantage?
It's going to be a straight roll because you would have disadvantage, so it's going to be canceling out the advantage.
Oh boy. 11.
Okay. 11 beats the DC of 10 as you're able to delicately scale down the cliffside here, attached to the rope. You make it your footing kind of solid as you continue down. The sound of the half-force waterfall surrounding you to the left and right as Plato maintains the split above. You stay dry as you find your feet unable to meet with rock, as it must be at the opening of the cliff face here.
Okay,
as you see the purple glow beneath you.
I am at the entrance. I am going to let go of the cliff. If you could just let me down a little bit at a time.
Sherrilyn, strength check at advantage.
She lets the rope slide through her hand, like hand over hand, one at a time.
Francis, you slide down. You see in front of you, just a little bit hazy because of the darkness kind of emanating off of it, but very much visible, an orb at the back of this cave. Just about 30 feet wide, pretty narrow, just barely housing the orb at the back. Do your feet drop to the cliffside floor here, gain stable footing?
Yeah, he would try and get on the ledge.
Oh yeah, as your feet find the ledge, you see glowing beneath you, and I need a Constitution saving throw as the sigil spell activates. You all hear a loud boom coming from beneath you in Francis' location.
13.
A 13 won't do it, as a wave of thunderous force sweeps from out of the cave, pushing you back 10 feet and giving 2d8 thunder damage. Sherrilyn, you feel the rope go taut as Francis begins free falling 10 feet off of the cave. I need pretty high strength saving throw. It's going to be a straight save here to not drag you off the edge with it.
I feel like she would jump out and grab onto Sherrilyn, seeing him swing out in that force. Maybe then it can be an advantage.
Yeah, Inara, do you go and try and grab onto the rope as well?
Absolutely. I mean, she was keeping her eye on him in case she needed to use that feather fall, so...
Yeah, absolutely. I think the feather fall probably triggers now too, and I think that probably is what gives you advantage as Francis becomes much more weightless in the air, lowering the DC as well as Francis kind of floats back on the rope, just kind of gently falling instead of the dead weight he was as Sherrilyn grabs on. Give me that strength check.
15 total.
15 is the DC with the as Francis, you blow back 10 feet and then swing back forward as they maintain your grip, landing your feet once again on this cliffside, the orb jet in front of you.
Yeah, like he wouldn't scream or anything, but like when it goes out, and I like to imagine because of the feather fall, he like becomes lighter instead of like normal resistance. You just like see like he's like for a brief moment he just swings enough up that you just see him over the cliffside and just goes back down.
He like floats for a second as the feather fall makes him just like.
Francis, bye, Francis.
Sherrilyn fucking flexing above, holding your like the full weight barely between her two arms here.
Her feet are skidding on the ground as she's trying to maintain her footing, like throwing her entire weight backwards to hold him in place.
Inara wrapped around her waist, trying to give the help action.
And then like Francis like very much like ungracefully lands into the cave again. And it's like just like very much like trying to regain his footing. He's like, I'm okay.
Shoot it before it does it again. Inara yells out over the cliffside.
You're also going to take 10 points of thunder damage. Apologies from the spell sigil.
Ouchie out.
Please take the shot.
Sacred flame it.
Can I sacred flame it?
Unfortunately not. I'm sorry. There doesn't seem to be the proper life force to tap into here. Is Francis out of spell slots?
No, I'm good. I'm just like, can I use a cantrip? No, fuck.
Sorry,
He is very much going to quickly prepare one more guiding bolt and just send it at this fucking orb.
Roll to hit. It's not a low AC. Roll to hit. 17? 17.
I have an inspiration. Thinking back on how Francis saved my sight, I reach out and try to steady his hand in my mind.
As a bit of the water from the side of the waterfall kind of splashes across Francis's face as his eyes kind of clear for a second as your will is done, Plato. Francis, roll again.
I don't know if he'll do better, but it's a chance.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's going to be a dirty 20.
That will just do it as you refresh your aim here with Plato's intent. The inspiration coursing through your body. You will hit as any amount of radiant damage that's able to course through this thing will destroy it as you hear the familiar noise of the impact and force sucking in. Francis, you have just a second to react. What do you do before this implosion happens?
He's going to hit the deck.
Jump!
Francis goes
featherfall
prone.
on him.
Francis, make me a strength check at advantage as you go prone, kind of like holding on to the narrow sides of the walls here as this immense force passes over you. 17 will be enough to not once again be yo-yoed outside of the cliff face as you hold your position. Everyone outside, you see the rope kind of get thrown force dangling for just a second, the other side attached to Francis within the cave as it just explodes outward, again echoing the sound of the thunder wave earlier as this valley is filled, and then just a second or two passes before beautiful bright light fills the entire oasis within 600 feet beneath you all. Really showing the beauty of this place, the golden architecture gleaming against the light it hasn't seen in many, many years from this clifftop side, as you all cleanse the western quarter of the oasis.
Sherrilyn almost lets go of the rope to try and cover her eyes and then realizes she probably shouldn't do that.
Pull him up, pull him up, pull him up.
Yeah, no, as soon as like the blast goes off and like Francis realizes, okay, the immediate danger's past, he'll feel like the tug behind him, and so like he'll just scramble up and then like get to the edge and just hold on to it as Sherrilyn will lift him up from the cave.
It's all three of us perhaps on the end of that rope, just sort of. Plato's at the edge of it, making sure it's not wearing out. He just keeps wetting it to make sure it doesn't break, and Inara is helping too as we get you up over the edge.
Yeah, I think with all of your powers combined here, you're able to pull Francis up without a check needed, as you're able to all take to this cliffside, probably about noon now, the sun high in the sky, as this oasis is now 3/4 cleansed through your immense effort.
Yeah, as Francis is pulled up and like he like hangs onto the edge as he pulls himself over the edge. You see like his hair is just absolutely just like frayed back and like windswept. His like face is just like tired and just like completely just like out of his like, let's just take a moment and then just go to the last one.
So the west has been cleared. How are we all getting down from this cliffside?
Carefully.
Good answer.
I don't know how long the climbing potions last, but some of us will just...
Climbing potion lasts a full hour.
Yeah, then you're totally good. You don't need anything. Are you guys just going to go first and set the ropes up for Plato and Francis? Francis, if you wanted to with Inara's spell, you could cut that rope free and jump right down.
Just float down. I will climb.
Francis kind of like looks at them, realize like takes a moment to process. Oh yeah, this is actually like affecting me right now, and he is going to look down at his waist, still holding onto the ledge, and kind of like untie it with his other hand. And he's gonna be like, I'm just gonna float down. I'll see you all down there. Make sure the horses are fine. And he's going to push off, aim towards the first landing that they were at.
There he goes.
Yeah, no issues whatsoever with that spell on. You're able to easily float and move yourself around. You feel completely weightless as you gently coast through the air. Inara's magic's enveloping you. Sherrilyn and Inara, you both climb down first the cliffside. Much easier to navigate in the daylight, except for you, Sherrilyn. But you have the climbing potions, so you're fine anyway, as you're able to descend this cliffside, setting up the rope for Plato. Plato, you're the last one remaining as you descend. Give me an athletics check. It's going to be DC 12. I need 2 of them as you descend.
He's just like muttering to himself as he walks down. He's like, had to be the water guy. Had to go up and do the spell. Let's see. Well, you said an advantage, right?
Yeah.
You said an advantage, right? Okay, cool. So nat 1 and then a 15. So that's going to take that fit.
You make it down. You descend across most of it now. Probably about 80 feet or so left as you make your second athletics.
And then another 16 minus 1 for 15. So.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever. You all descend to this newly reclaimed, uncursed portion of the oasis. The water flowing at the bottom here as the waterfall returns to its full potency, bit by bit as the trees moved slowly by the deluge of water being stored behind it as nature is restored here.
Do you think the spiders from the webways will notice?
I wouldn't be able to answer that because I can't see.
There's just the one left then. And then the terrible hate coil at the center of the oasis, which are we feeling? Man, I do dread. But orbs first, I suppose.
Orb, singular.
We all head back through the graveyard. Once we're a good earshot out of the waterfall, a complete and utter silence falling over the group here as we ride through these different standing stones representing the graves of many past throughout the years here. Any conversation to be had as you return to the center of the oasis?
Just that I hate to look upon all these corpses, which I'm assuming tried to fight the terrible coil.
And as you return, the terrible coil now a long horizontal figure taking up most of the central structure, mostly uncoiled. It kind of meets itself just with the tip of its serpent-like head and the end of its long tail. Its mouth slowly opening now. It's seemingly frozen like a statue, a purple glow emanating from within its body. Its large form bulbous, it coming undone. It's still in the center of the shadow, now a little bit more to the southern portion as it retains whatever safety it has left in the dying light, in the dying darkness, rather, as you all create light around it. You head towards the southern path.
Yeah, we will turn southbound.
We have no other choice. It seems that it's where we must face it if it is going to come out to seek us.
And this is the easiest one to find.
Sherrilyn is complaining more about her encroaching headache, and as they're heading south, she would be listening out to see if they heard more of fake Inara's crying or anyone else complaining of hurt?
As we head south, I think I put the beeswax back in my ears.
Yeah, you don't hear anything. However, within view as you descend back, or ascend rather, into the opening portion of this oasis connected to the way that you came, you do see blocking the way in front of you that you and your cart once traversed a group of individuals, two horses, their manes and bodies drenched in shadow. On individual horsebacks you can make out the figures. On one, two feminine figures, one high elven, one tabaxi. On the other, you see a flowing shadowy arm, glasses pushed up, Francis in shadow form behind, as you all see yourselves standing in a defensive position, completely masked in shadow, no color leaking through.
Are we doing this again?
I wheels Grizzly to the side so that Francis can address the shadows more directly. I say, "Yes, my friend here can undo you quite easily."
What was the point of the fake crying if we would have to approach you anyway?
They begin to charge forth. Francis, do you say anything else? As Plato says that you can unmake them.
No, he is going to hop off of Grizzly and kind of just stand a little ahead of the two horses and just watch them like come at him, essentially.
Roll me an intimidation check with Plato's help here, as you stand fearless in the sight of these monsters.
Like, he's not even trying to intimidate, he's just like sick of them. It's gonna be 14.
Ooh, sounds like an opposed check.
That's so funny. As they all are still rushing forward, this intense pace, you feel the hard hoofs of the shadow horses hitting the ground, headed directly towards your location. Sherrilyn, Inara, what are you doing as you see these shadows advance in this kind of narrower waterway?
We ourselves in the area of shadow now.
Yes, going to the south here re-immerses you in the shadow.
Naturally, I'll draw my sword and prepare to charge forward in the defense of Starthon.
I love it.
So Inara is sitting back on Harkin behind Sherrilyn, and since the other two were walking ahead of us, no one's looking at me. So Inara's going to take advantage of this, and she's going to activate her robe of scintillating colors. And so you guys see from behind as she calls out, "Do not look back at me!" The same light that you saw during the Jackalware fight. And so a bright light is shed in a 30-foot radius, and then a dim light for 30 feet beyond, in the hopes that, I guess, light makes them weaker.
Sorry, Sherrilyn got blinded again.
I love this. I will say, as they're charging forth, three of them, specifically the shadow of Francis, Inara, and Plato, as they're charging forth, take a very sudden right-hand turn running into the wall as you see the shadows climb up the wall and away. However, the shadow of Sherrilyn was not affected by the intimidating posture of Francis and Plato's words of terror, as the shadow of Sherrilyn on the shadow of Harkin still charges forward directly to you all. As that shadow sees this brilliant and beautiful light, it's going to make a what saving throw?
DC 15 wisdom saving throw.
The shadow of Sherrilyn will make a wisdom saving throw.
He really did copy Sherrilyn in its entirety.
I know, even in shadow form, you are fearless.
What can I say?
Let us see if it is just as distracted by Inara's dancing.
All right, that is going to be a 3 total. So that's not going to do it. So the shadow of Sherrilyn above the shadow of Harkin charges forth towards you all. As a brilliant light shines out from behind you, it remains completely stunned, its mouth opening a gate, creating this kind of white hole effect in its face as it opens into a smile, as it stands amazed at Inara, as it's completely stunned. You guys have an initiative round here. I won't even make you roll initiative if you don't want to. You have a single shadow in front of you. It's within 30 feet. It is stunned.
Yeah, can I charge the shadow jousting style and just shove my
100%.
sword into it?
Absolutely. You charge the shadow on a working Harkin.
But before I attempt to jousting stab this creature, is it the shadow, as in which she surmised she needs to make sure she does radiant damage in order to actually be effective?
To be very effective, yeah, radiant damage it would be best. They did take some damage from your swings, but it wasn't nearly as effective.
Okay, so Harkon charges forward, and Nara behind her. I don't know, shaking her chest or something. As she did that, she did this little shimmying dance on the back of the horse, and with the silhouette of this light as it's starting to fade behind her, she's charging forward with her sword pointed directly at the other fake Sherrilyn, ready to stab it in the chest.
With advantage that is stunned.
Imagine she just stood up on the back of Harkin and just started dancing.
With advantage, that's a natural 20 plus 4.
Holy moly. Absolutely.
And I'm going to smite on that
Hell yeah.
as well.
Do I smite at first level?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I can only one-hand this sword while I'm handling the horse, so that's going to be 6 slashing damage, and then massive. Oh, hold on, there's a second one. 8 radiant damage from the smite.
Okay, so the 6 slashing damage is going to be reduced to 3. However, the 8 radiant damage is going to be doubled to 16 as it... Oh wait, you included the crit damage, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't include the crit damage. You're right. Okay, yeah, so that's going to be an additional 10.
Yes.
Yeah, an additional 10
And then double
slashing
again.
damage, which would be reduced to 5, and then it would be 16 radiant extra from the crit.
Yeah, so you would do 32 plus 5 points of damage there total, which would be 35, 37 points of damage total, which is more than double this thing's health. Sherrilyn, how do you want to do this?
I feel like it's kind of like anime style that she like slides past this thing. The sword just goes straight through it, and it's like a bright flash as it explodes underneath the smite. She keeps going. The horse keeps going a few more steps as it was going very fast, and it's charged towards this. So the hooves skidding against the ground as she turns around and faces the target that's not there.
You see coming into view as you do charge a little bit further in the waterway itself, that orb just floating a few feet off the ground, the one that claimed the lives of 2 of Medean war horses earlier this day.
I also like to imagine as Sherrilyn gallivants forward to joust this shadow, she forgets the very important fact that Inara is dancing with her on the horseback and just went in front of Francis and Plato.
It's okay. It only works the instant that she casts it. We're fine.
So we just see like this weird like this display of Inara dancing on the back of Harkin as Sherrilyn just jousts this shadow, and Francis just there like, oh thank God that didn't take long.
Like a circus.
Also, I had forgotten that light probably is very harsh on my eyes as I smote the creature. So, ow! Is it gone? I have swimmers.
Yes, Sir Stalder, you have vanquished him rather effectively.
Justly so. I think I see their orb as well.
Right, well, let's get on with it.
Yep, just the one orb between us and the hate, the Ouroboros of hate that floats in the central courtyard.
What could possibly go wrong?
How dare you? How dare you say that?
Why would you put that out into the universe? Why?
Thank you, thank you.
Have you not seen where we are at?
Spit on the ground and turn around 3 times.
I did that when I landed face first in that cave.
Sherrilyn turns over her shoulder to Inara and says, "You can keep dancing as much as you want."
Goodness gracious, come on.
Are you enjoying me shimmying up behind you?
Alright,
not a
where's
bad
this
feeling.
orb?
At least on 2 separate horses.
So the orb is now above the water, because I remember it went below the water last time.
Yeah, but in the north, in these waterways, the water is much more shallow. There probably wouldn't even be room for the orb to fully go down, compared to the pool that was in the near the end. But this orb, this familiar orb to the S that we've tried to destroy before, just floats gently above the water, coloring this waterway with its violet purple.
Theoretically, if it's not as deep, Sir Sherrilyn could wade across and attack the orb. You're already blind, okay? Francis has only so many spell slots, and we still have to fight the terrible coil.
I only have 1 spell slot.
But listen to him advocating for his new friend.
I'm down to my last level 1.
Thing I cannot do anything. Okay, who could do we assume we have to do radiant damage to the orb? Yes.
All right, Sirthon, shall we rock paper scissors for it?
No, I will finish it here. I will just let it be over in the surest way possible. Just get out of the way.
All right, balance your hand on my shoulder again. I lean back down to act as a. I look very matter of fact as Inara rolls her eyes at me. I saw that.
There's nothing wrong with this. It's just two guys helping each other.
This is just two guys aiming a holy blast. Oh fuck that. You all know what I meant. Go get rid of the orb.
Sir, you will never beat the alligator. All right, one final level 1 spell for guiding bolt.
I will use my inspiration, my heroic inspiration, to assist Francis's attempt.
13. One more time. It's gonna be a 21.
All right, that will do it. Beating the AC of 20. Fuck yeah. As, again, very familiar effect. As everyone brace themselves for it now, not even getting closer to it as Francis blows it away.
Wait, I didn't even give you all time. I just fucking went.
We didn't even get within 60 feet of that orb.
Implodes. Sherrilyn, the effect is immediate. As the implosion passes over you, you feel the curse end on your body as the color in your eyes return, as the source of the curse on this plane is gone. As you all hear an unholy screech come from directly north of your position.
Maintenance.
As a loud series of comes from directly north.
Once it is reconsecrated, it performs the maintenance of deconsecration.
Oh.
So do we have to go deal with that now, I suppose?
Yes.
Yep. Well,
otherwise,
good news.
Yeah, it will
Good news, everyone. I can see.
That is good news.
We'll be fine, I'm sure.
Now then, shall we...
Like magical Tylenol.
Within miles, we see both Rourke and his horse now have their eyesight repaired. The 4 surviving rowdy dirty doggy boys who feared for their lives and flee now have their eyesight repaired as they hide from the terror that you brought them the day before.
I hope they know we did it. I hope they feel.
They just know. They know. Good news, I have 3 level 2 slots left.
I have a lot of my spells left, but they're not gonna like do extra juice or anything, so
Yeah.
I've got 1 spell slot.
As you feel this darkness defeated, there is one other thing that you are gaining for taking the time to cure this oasis, which is a feat that I am giving you all. It's not particularly great, but as you feel yourself master the shadows of this place, this long-standing, incredibly powerful shadow curse that nomads have been trying to end for a little while now, you're all going to get the Skulker feat, specifically from Legacy 5th edition. So this all gives you some minor benefits. You can try to hide when you're only lightly obscured from the creature from which you're hiding, so you don't have to be behind like full cover. When you're hidden from a creature and miss with a ranged weapon attack, like you're trying to get in an advantageous position, say you're already hidden, it doesn't reveal your position, so they won't know where you're attacking from if you attack from the fog of war. Dim light also will no longer impose disadvantage on perception checks. As you guys kind of master the darkness that surrounded you here, you feel this feature kind of learned into you, and you have these innate advantages moving forward.
Well, Francis, it seems the shadows have finally learned to serve you.
Shadows only exist in the light.